Philadelphia news, team of my heart. Are you tired of watching the Sixers struggle to knock down clutch shots when it matters most? In this Sixers news update, we break down a potential game-changing trade for Philadelphia, one that could solve the team's biggest weakness, three-point shooting. Could this move finally give Embiid and Maxey the space they need to dominate? Don't miss out on the latest Sixers news and rumors that could shift everything. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications to stay ahead of every move. You've seen it before. That moment when you feel like the Sixers are just one piece away. One addition that can push this team over the edge, that can help Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George lead the Sixers to glory. Now, imagine a player out there, a shooter with deadly accuracy, someone who's a perfect fit. Someone who can give you that edge. You know the pain. The Sixers have had talented rosters, but you've watched as they've fallen short, unable to break through in the biggest moments. It's frustrating when you feel like the potential is there, but something's always missing. It's not just talent, it's the right type of player. You need a guy who can complement the stars, someone who can knock down shots consistently when it matters most. You've seen this story before, great regular seasons that end in playoff heartbreak because the pieces didn't align. But there's a solution. Right now, Sixers news is buzzing about the possibility of adding that missing link. A player from the Sacramento Kings, someone on a $65 million contract, who has the skill set you've been craving. This isn't just any player. This is someone who can stretch the floor, open up the offense, and let Embiid dominate inside. You've seen how crucial spacing is in today's NBA, and you know what a difference it makes when the defense can't collapse on your MVP. And here's the thing, this potential trade isn't just a pipe dream. It's something that makes sense for both teams. Sacramento has depth at his position, and they might be looking to balance their roster by adding defensive versatility. For you, the Sixers would be gaining a proven shooter who's hit 38.2% from beyond the arc over his career. You know how important that kind of consistency is, especially when the defense is focused on stopping your stars. This could be the piece that elevates the Sixers from being contenders to being the favorites. The Sixers have some solid options in Kelly Oubre Jr. and Kenyon Martin Jr., but let's be honest, you need more than just defense and athleticism. You need a sniper, someone who can light it up from deep and make life easier for Embiid and George. Imagine the spacing on the floor, the wide-open looks, and how much easier it would be to execute on offense. In Sixers news, there's a growing conversation around what kind of package it would take to land this player. Sacramento is looking for depth, especially defensively, and the Sixers could be the perfect partner. It's the kind of trade that could benefit both sides, a win-win situation where everyone walks away stronger. You've seen trades like this work before, one team gets depth, and the other gets that one missing piece that changes everything. For the Sixers, the move makes sense. You're looking at a guy who has averaged double digits in scoring throughout his career and knows how to perform on big stages. He's been in the playoffs. He knows what it takes to win. And while he might not be a lockdown defender, you trust Nick Nurse to make the necessary adjustments to hide those weaknesses and maximize his strengths. You felt the frustration of watching this team come close, but not close enough. You've seen how important a player like this could be. Imagine him in the corner, wide open, with defenders scrambling to cover Embiid in the post. Imagine how that changes everything for the offense. The Sixers would become a nightmare to guard, and you'd be watching as this team finally gets over the hump. But it's not just about offense. You know defense wins championships, and this trade would allow the Sixers to mix and match lineups, using the defensive versatility of Oubre and Martin when needed, while keeping this new sharpshooter on the floor to stretch the defense. This is what you've been waiting for. A real, tangible move that could make the Sixers unstoppable. You've seen the rumor swirling, and you know Sixers news is all over this potential trade. It's the kind of move that could shift the balance of power in the East and give the Sixers that final push to the NBA Finals. Think about it. You're watching the Sixers in a tight game, the defense collapsing on Joel Embiid, and you're screaming for someone to knock down an open three. You've seen this scenario play out too often. The right pass is made, the opportunity is there, but the shot doesn't fall. It's crushing. You know how important those moments are, and you can feel that the Sixers are just missing that one guy who consistently delivers from beyond the arc when it counts. In Sixers news, this is exactly why the buzz around a potential trade has so much weight. It's not just about adding another player. It's about addressing a real need, one that has haunted this team in recent years. You've got your stars in Embiid, Maxey, and Paul George, but what happens when defenses collapse on them? You need someone on the perimeter who commands respect, who makes defenders think twice about helping off. This potential acquisition could give you that. You know what the Sixers have right now: athletic wings, solid defenders, guys who can attack the rim. But you also know that the missing piece is someone who can spread the floor and hit those clutch shots. It's about balance. You've watched games where defenses clog the paint, daring the Sixers to shoot from outside, and you felt the frustration when those shots don't fall. You need a player who changes that dynamic, someone who forces defenders to stay honest on the perimeter. This is where the trade rumors get interesting. Sacramento has a player that fits exactly what you're looking for, someone who can step in and immediately provide the shooting that this team desperately needs. And for the Kings, it's not like they're just giving him away. They've got their own needs, and the Sixers have pieces that could make this deal work for both teams. In recent Sixers news, the talks about what it would take to get this done are heating up. Sacramento could benefit from the defensive versatility that players like Oubre and Martin bring to the table. For you, that trade-off is well worth it. You're gaining a sharpshooter who can be the difference between another early playoff exit and a deep postseason run. It's not just about numbers on a stat sheet. You've seen how the NBA game has evolved. The three-point shot is everything now, and you need players who can consistently knock them down. The Sixers have been on the edge of greatness for a while, but without reliable shooting from deep, that championship window feels like it's slipping. You don't want to see this team waste the prime years of Embiid and George because they couldn't space the floor. This potential acquisition is about maximizing the talent you already have. Embiid is unstoppable one-on-one, but when defenders can sag off the perimeter and clog the lane, even he struggles to dominate. You know that bringing in a consistent shooter would make it impossible for teams to double Embiid without paying the price. That's the solution you've been waiting for. And it's not just about Embiid. Think about Tyrese Maxey and Paul George, two players who thrive in open space. A knockdown shooter would open up driving lanes for Maxey, giving him even more opportunities to get to the rim. It would also give George more room to operate in the mid-range, where he's lethal. You've watched enough basketball to know how much easier the game becomes when you have elite floor spacing. It makes everything click. In Sixers news, this trade could be the one that defines the season. It's the kind of move that shows the front office is serious about winning now. You don't want to hear about rebuilding or developing players for the future. You want to see this team take full advantage of the talent they have today. A shooter like this could be the final piece of the puzzle, and you're ready for that. This isn't just about filling a roster spot. It's about changing the way this team plays. You're looking at a chance to revolutionize the offense, to make the Sixers even more dangerous on both ends of the floor. It's the type of move that championship teams make, and you know the Sixers are on the cusp of being one of those teams. The Sixers have made solid moves this offseason, but you know there's still something missing. This trade could bring the consistency and reliability from deep that you've been longing for. You've probably been thinking this whole time, who's the player that could make such a huge difference for the Sixers? Who's the guy that could elevate this team to a championship contender? It's exciting, right? The idea of adding that missing piece, the one player who could help Embiid and Maxey, turn the Sixers into a nightmare for any opponent. Think about it. You know how crucial shooting is in today's NBA. You've seen how teams with elite shooters can swing games in their favor with just a couple of made threes. You felt that frustration when the Sixers have the perfect play set up, but the shot doesn't drop. Now, imagine having someone who can be automatic from deep, who forces defenders to pick their poison, either double Embiid and leave a shooter wide open or stay home and watch Joel dominate in the paint. Let me ask you, did you already have a guess? Could you feel who I was talking about all along? You've seen the trade rumors, you've heard the Sixers news, but maybe you weren't sure if this deal could really happen. It's the kind of move that takes guts, but if there's one thing you know about this team, it's that they're ready to make bold moves. They've done it before, and they're not afraid to do it again. But here's the question, wouldn't you love to see this player in a Sixers uniform? Picture it for a second. You're at Wells Fargo Center, the crowd is electric, and you watch as Embiid kicks the ball out to the perimeter. The shot goes up, and you know it's money, before it even touches the rim. That's the kind of confidence this player brings. It's the kind of player who can change everything for this team. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. The player we've been talking about all along, the $65 million sharpshooter who could be exactly what the Sixers need, Kevin Huerter. That's right, the Kings guard with a career 38.2% three-point shooting percentage. Huerter isn't just a good fit, he's exactly the type of shooter you've been hoping for. He's someone who can hit those corner threes, space the floor, and open up the game for the Sixers stars. You've been following Sixers news closely, and you know that a move like this could be the difference between another playoff disappointment and a real shot at the finals. Huerter could be that difference maker. His ability to knock down shots and stretch the defense would make life so much easier for Embiid, Maxey, and George. And when the games get tight in the playoffs, when every possession counts, you'd want a player like him taking those clutch shots. So, now I've got to ask, did you see it coming? Did you know Huerter was the player that could solve the Sixers' three-point shooting problem? It's the kind of move that gets you excited as a fan because it addresses a real need. You've seen this team so close, and now you know what could push them over the top. If you're ready to keep up with all the latest Sixers news and follow every move this team makes on its way to a potential championship run, you've got to stay locked in. Hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you never miss an update. You don't want to be the last one to know when big news drops, especially when it could be a game-changing move like this one. Join the Sixers community, stay ahead of every trade rumor, and be part of the journey to the top. Let's do this, together.